Japanese animation, or anime, is the fastest growing underground cult in the movie world, even though these sleek and high-tech animated movies from Japan rarely surface in conventional theaters. Every year a few of them break through, however, and the new anime feature making the rounds now is Ghost in the Shell.
In 1995, there was an animated movie like no other, one that brought questions about what that future would be and how we would exist in that world, and that movie was Ghost in the Shell. The manga which the movie is based off of was created in 1989, written by Masamune Shiro, and the manga itself is very explicit compared to its movie counterpart, oftentimes taking a more comedic approach, which if you're coming straight from the slow and dark ultra serious movie, it can leave you a bit confused. But what's so incredible aside from its story is the artwork that goes into it, with every panel of the manga being incredibly detailed and with beautiful colored pages that completely captivate you the moment you lay your eyes on them. And I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in checking out the manga for yourself. But in today's video, I want to explore what Ghost in the Shell has done to cyberpunk media since its initial release back in '95, and how its influence can still be seen today. The story of Ghost in the Shell follows Makoto Kusanagi, also known as the Major, who is also the assault team leader of Public Security Section 9 for Newport City in Japan. And the time period in which Kusanagi is a part of is the not too distant future of 2029, where cybernetic technology has become so advanced that now people are able to change themselves with the use of augmentations. Augmented so much in fact that the entire human body can become completely cybernetic. However, aside from those scientific achievements in the world of Ghost in the Shell, the one creation that is central to its story is the cyberbrain. The cyberbrain is an advanced form of technology which allows a person to mechanically encase their brain, which then allows said person to access the vast and ever-changing internet. And the movie describes this as being a person's ghost, which is the soul that inhabits the body being said person's shell. And after her mission of assassinating a foreign diplomat, Kusanagi and her team are trying to find an unknown hacker named the Puppet Master, a computer program that was made by the public security of Section 6, which then later became sentient. And by becoming sentient, now the big question the Puppet Master has, this cybernetic program, is why does it exist at all? And what is it to be an actual human being? Which is something the Major also struggles with throughout the entire runtime of this movie. There's constant moments of her being alone, whether it be alone in her apartment or around other people. And it's places like this where she finds herself thinking about her own existence and how different she is when all the other people around her are real human beings with their own thoughts, personal feelings, and morals. There's one specific scene in which she dives into the ocean, just to kind of experience what it's like to be a human despite her putting herself at risk every time she does it. And it's one of the few scenes in the movie that I remember vividly because it's the moment where the Major is alone, trying to find herself in a world that's bigger than her, bigger than anyone, only for her to never really come down to a single answer that explains who or what she is by the time she reaches the surface. Always searching for some sense of closure, only to keep wandering in what seems to be with no real destination. But on the other hand, aside from the existential side of Ghost in the Shell lies another question. What is our relationship with technology? And this is something the movie not only answers itself, but also throws at you from its use of environment, fight scenes, and characters. It shows us how much technology technology and information has become not only a source of great power to power a whole city, but also allowing for human growth that was never thought to be possible before. From augmentations, implants of memories, to even becoming a living weapon. And from these ideas that date all the way back from a movie that came out in 1995, that the landscape of what cyberpunk was changed forever. On September 3rd, 1998, Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation was born, and with its countless sequels coming out in the following years. And while it isn't really cyberpunk, you can't deny that there are elements of Ghost in the Shell riddled throughout the series, like Snake's military outfit from Metal Gear Solid, which looks like a variation to the one the Major wears in the movie, to the Octo Camo in 4, which resembles the thermal optic tech the Major uses when we're first introduced to her character, or Metal Gear Solid 2's entire plot where AIs become sentient from the endless large amounts of information that end up controlling the world. But it isn't until 1999 that we really start seeing the effects from Ghost in the Shell come to form in other media. And from 1998 to 1999, from video game to big screen movie, we enter The Matrix. The Matrix was a film that revolutionized movies, but it was thanks to Ghost in the Shell and its homages that helped make The Matrix. From the very opening scene in The Matrix, it's literally the same sea of code that's in Ghost in the Shell, to the entire concept of someone hooking themselves up to a device that allows them to navigate in a digital world, to even the world the characters inhabit, which is presented in a way that constantly feels it's on the brink, filled with areas that have a dark and gritty feel to them that sets the atmosphere for both films. And from The Matrix, Ghost in the Shell's influence kept on growing, with movies like Avatar taking the concept of linking up our bodies to enter a realm of information, to now having the ability to link up our own personalities into an entirely new body, and the significance in that. One of my favorite video game franchises, Deus Ex, specifically Human Revolution and Mankind Divided, is another perfect example. From our wide variety of augmentations we can add to Adam, to how the character designs look, even the fact of Adam being chief of security and later becoming an operative for Task Force 29 just gives you the entire vibe from the Major. Or even going back to the early 2000s to the game Oni, which is about a woman who's part of a police task force that needs to stop a higher power from ruining the world. But during that adventure, she also goes on a journey of self-discovery. Sound familiar? Well, that's because the very concept artist for this game, Alex Okita, was a massive fan of the original Ghost in the Shell, stating in many interviews that one of the major influences for the game was the 1995 film. And you can clearly see it just simply based off how Oni's main character looks and feels like she just belongs in the world of the Major. And if we want to go even further, you can watch Steven Spielberg's movie Artificial Intelligence. Oh, and there's a Bruce Willis movie and Blade Runner 2049 where the main character has implanted memories thinking they're his, but they're really not. And there's a whole lot I want to say, but I'll just be repeating myself. But where I will be doing that is in Netflix's new anime, where we can see how Masamune Shiro's story has truly evolved and how it's influenced the cyberpunk genre in present day. And it's incredible. Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a show that not only is some of the best that anime has to offer, but if you're looking into getting into stories that are set in high-tech technological digitized worlds, then this show is a must-watch. It's also one of the reasons that this video took a while to make, but if you're watching, thank you. When it comes to anything that comes to future-based movies or shows, for me the standard has always been Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, The Matrix, and now as of recent, Cyberpunk Edgerunners. The show itself is absolutely stunning to see. From the dirty and vulgar streets of Night City to the stylistic and dripped out characters, everything just feels right. What Ghost in the Shell and other works pioneered, Cyberpunk Edgerunners took that and elevated into a level that I haven't seen in a long time. I mean, you can literally see the first episode, and the moment it starts, the city just takes you aback with how well made it is. Just even from the simple things of how the rain mixes with the neon colors in the nighttime, or even the still shots of characters and how their very designs just fit perfectly into the world they're in. But what fascinates me even more is the use of technology in this world. For example, what if I told you that you were able to take your worthless body and become a master in martial arts? Well, in the world of Edgerunners, you can. With people in this world having chip reading devices fused with their bodies on their necks, all you would need is a downloadable copy of anything you want to learn and become instantly the greatest at anything you want. Edgerunners also expands on the whole connecting your body to a device to enter the net, and now we're able to see how someone would be able to hack another person through what is called deep diving. And I don't want to dive into it too much because I would really like for you guys to watch this show, because it's Ghost in the Shell but on a more faster, hyper based level. Every episode just taking you on a crazy high, not only visually but story wise as well. But it also gives appreciation of what came before, appreciation for one of the many stories that brought us here and gave us one of the coolest main characters in all of anime, with her story, her world, even her very existence being felt across the many science fiction stories of the last 20 years. Stories that remind us that the major is still out there, haunting the vast and infinite thing we use called the internet. Thanks for watching the video, and hopefully you enjoyed it and check out some of the other franchises I mentioned. But leave a like and subscribe, turn on bell notifications to get notified whenever I do upload, and I'll talk to you guys.
And where does the newborn go from here? The net is vast and infinite.